Husband says they're at a distance of several light years. Wife says, look at the beautiful rose. Husband says, ammonium nitrate is used for the fertility of the ground. Wife says, look into my eyes. Husband says the focal distance is too. Honorable Mr. President, can you guess who this couple is? It's the poor, pitiable woman with her engineer husband. Millions of rupees made their blessing for their transient parents, but for their wives, they're nothing less than a curse, let alone a nightmare of phantasmagoria. Or exothermic, what is the latent heat of its constituent? And what is the melting point of yeast in it in case of soup? What is the boiling point of soup itself? Mr. President, let's go a step further. Mr. Engineer has trapped a woman. The outcome is in the form of a child. When his son loves him, he at once becomes irritated and says, hello, mister, are you an electron or what? If not, why are you walking around me as if I were a nucleus? Keep yourself at a distance. Keep yourself at a distance, but not so far that you lose a lot of your kinetic energy and fall into my orbit. And mind you, don't climb the roof, for potential energy is highest at that point. And if you don't pay heed to what I say, I'm likely to use a few of my calories upon you. Mr. President, let me hear. He kept on explaining till wax was covering the cake. I complained and he at once became attentive and said, honey, do you know something? Mr. President, I almost lost my self-composure and finally I was so happy and sure that he's feeling romantic. It is a chemical process. Mr. President, I felt like banging my head against the wall or banging the cane into my engineer husband's head. And recently, Mr. President, he has developed a liking for robots. I shudder to think of the time when he starts treating me and my son as robots. Mr. President, robots are machines. They need maintenance. Good enough. Mr. President, robots are machines. They need delicate handling. Good enough too. But Mr. President, robots are machines. They need assembling and oiling. God save my soul. And while watching TV, he cannot refrain from using his cherished engineered language. He goes on, look at this chap, honey. If only he picks up his bat at 45 degrees and hit the ball at 60 degrees, the ball is likely to make an angular trajectory and it will accelerate and cross the boundary with a velocity of 60 kilometers per hour. He talks about the plan was stuck and he says this chap will never know how to swing only if he pick up the ball in an anti-clockwise manner in his fingers and make an angle of 36 degrees with his wrist and 40 feet with his elbow. The ball is likely to make a parabol if the radius of the parabol is twice as much as that of the ball itself. The ball is likely to move in a circular motion. Hitting the wicket in linear motion, defeating the batsman and the batsman will be out. And mind you, engineers have their good sides also, but I don't know. Where do they hide it? Before coming to this place, I went into his office. He offered me a chair, smiled and said, Madam, I must have seen you somewhere, for your voice sounds familiar. I noticed he was not having his spectacles on. Before I was about to scream, he said, Madam, oh, honey, I'm sorry. You know my eyesight. I said, the only thing I know is that I was a fool to marry in the first place. Mr. President, sir, if anyone still thinks it's any fun being an engineer's wife, he is living in fools. Oh, rather, engineer's paradise. I thank you all.